So my name is Caroline Foster. I'm an astronomer working in the School of Physics at UNSW. Right. So I fell in love with physics and trying to understand the universe and how things work and get together as a teenager. I then studied physics as an undergrad and moved on. For my master's, I was hesitating between weather science or astronomy. Quite like the unpredictability of the weather, if you like. And astronomy is a bit like that too. Like a lot of the structure formation has a lot of aspects that are unpredictable, if you like, but then it leads to these beautiful structures. So I really like trying to understand how this seeming organization comes out of basically the apparent chaos after the Big Bang. And so that's always been my interest and what's driving my research still to this day. I try to understand how galaxies came to look the way they do today by looking at a mixture of data in the past, so mainly up to maybe 4 billion years ago until today, and then seeing how they've transformed over time to try and connect the dots, and also looking in the past when the different physical processes that transformed these galaxies into what we see today were all happening at a very, they were much more commonly happening in the past. And so trying to look at snapshots in the past to try and see if we can try and understand what were the key physical processes that shaped galaxies, that made them shut down their star formation? How did they get to either form or lose their spiral arms? Why some of them slow down as they age, etc. I'd actively encourage students to come and talk to astronomers, to actually have a go at looking at data, manipulating data, take part in a research project. Often, if you enjoy it, you can continue and it can expand into something more, like a honors, for example, research project. And so I think having a broad exposure to the different topics, because even though astronomy might seem narrow, it's actually there's a very broad range of interests even within astronomy. So being exposed to the different branches or sub-branches of astronomy is actually really beneficial for a student to understand which part or which areas they enjoy the most. I was watching like Stranger Things, and I watched the whole thing. It's not like I hate creepy movies, but all the 80s things. It's like, I'm back. It's kind of a bit like Canada, the weather too. I'm like, this is like, anyway. Sorry.